Hi everyone, it's Dr. Lee here. Today we will talk about the full lectures, which is about human resource management. So before I start talking about what you have to do on today's lectures, and I would like to give you some feedback on the second quiz we had in this class. So in the second quiz, as I mentioned previously, was not easy at all, but I'm glad to see the majority of students actually did a pretty good jobs in preparing for the quiz and reading this material that asks you to read and watch the video that I prepare on Canvas. In the second quiz, there are two open-end questions. Actually, I made comments on everyone's response, but I would like to, go and give you more explanations on these two questions, because these two questions are kind of related to the first assignment you have to do in this class. So these two open-end questions is one question number A, create two goals and objectives for the NHL. So basically in the question number A, you find out you were asked to create goals and objectives for the NHL when they're trying to expand into new markets like esports markets. Right, so when you're creating a goal objective, try to reflect your memory a little bit. When we talk about goal objective, there are four very important things that you have to do. First thing is you have to qualify goals and quantify this objective. Qualify goal, which means you have to write a statements about the goal, and also quantify means you have to provide more specific goal, right? So provide the numbers and quantify the goal that you create. Right. And the second thing is the goal and objective need to be completely related to. So when you create a goal, your objective need to provide a more in-depth explanation to your goals. Right. And the third thing is objective need to be matchable, attainable, realistic, and achievable. Right. And the last one is objective does not equal to strategies, because when I was grading the second quiz, I find out some students understand I have qualified goal and quantified objective, but a lot of objective some students create that sounds like a strategy rather than objective. So I would like to give you an example to help you to better understand about this. So first things, we're using this question as example. So create two goals and four objectives for the NHL. Right? If you want to create a goal, is I would like to increase sales of the NHL video games. This is the example that made by our students. I'm using the students the word as example. So if this is the goal, this is a pretty straightforward goal. I would like to increase sales of the NHL video game. So your objective need to be related to the goal and quantify the objective. So they say I increase NHL video game sales by 20% over the first 2 years. So when you look at this objective, we quantify the objective, quantify the goal. Right? The goal is we increase the sales, the video game sales, and the objectives will be increase video game sales by what percentage. Right, for what year? So in the first 2 years. So for this objective is very clear, and you quantify the goals and also measurable. So if you want to know whether you have achieved this goal, achieved this objective, when you look at these statements, is achievable, right? It's measurable. You know, if I reach, if my video game sales has been increased by 20%, I meet the goal that I set in the first place, right? If I did not increase the sales by 20%, that I did not meet the goal, right? So this is about the goal and objective. So for strategy, it's like I could have some professional players attend this eSport, e-gaming event for the NHL. I can create two international NHL eSport competition, and the event will be live streamed and broadcast internationally. So those are like a strategy. So when I'm seeing some student creating objective, a lot of objectives sounds like this, right? This is a strategy, not quite related, directly related to the increase the sales of the NHL video games. So when you're creating a goal and objective, when you're writing your first assignment, which is create a strategic plan for Miami Redhawks, you have to make sure the goal you create is a statement, quantify the goal, and the objective you created is you have to quantify the objective, right? Qualify the goal, quantify the objective, right? So make sure there's a difference between objective and strategies, right? And also make sure the goal and you objective create are really related, right? Basically provide more in-depth explanations about the goal you create. Okay, this is about question number A. Any questions, please feel free to email me and let me know if you still don't understand the differences between goal and objective, still don't really understand, cannot really differentiate objective and strategies. Okay, so this is about question number A. About question number 11. So this is based on the principle that we discussed. You have to create a mission statement for the MLS FC Cincinnati's. Right, so now I want you to create a mission statements. In the class, we did talk about vision statement, mission statement, and value statements. So before you start writing a mission statement for FC Cincinnati, you will have to think about what is a mission statements, what made mission statement different compared to a vision statements, right? So a mission statement basically is a short statements of why the organization is, what overall goal is, and identify the goal of its operations. Right, so in these mission statements, you have to mention what kind of product or service you're providing, what kind of customer and goal, and what markets, right? So you do have to mention about those things. So basically, you're gonna use 3 to 4 sentences to explain what you're doing as an organization, who are you and what you're doing, and also what goal you're trying to achieve. Right, basically 3 to 4 sentences. For a lot of students, when you write a mission statement, only use one sentence. It's really difficult for you to only use one sentence to explain who you are, what you do, and what you try to achieve. Right. So this is an example. I think one of the best mission statement has been written by the students in the second quiz. So they say the FC Cincinnati is an American professional soccer club founded in 2018 with a focus on building our success through continued dedications to being leaders on and off the soccer fields. Our missions is to build a winning program through sustained competitive excellence and a disciplined mentalist. We are deeply committed to the communities of Cincinnati and all our fans and supporters. Right? This is actually a pretty well written mission statement. So in this mission statement, 3 sentences, right? It explains who we are. Right, he's an American professional soccer club, right, founded in 2018. And what we do is we focusing on building a success through what, right? And what we try to achieve, our mission is to build a winning programs, blah, blah, blah. And also we committed to the communities at Cincinnati, right? So this is actually a pretty solid mission statement. So when you're writing a mission statements in your individual assignment, so you have to make sure use 3 to 4 sentences to describe who you are, what you do, and what you try to achieve. What product are you trying to sell? What service are you providing? Right? So that is about mission statements. Okay, this is about the second quiz. So today we talk about human resource management, lecture 4. Right, so in these lectures, there are a couple of things I hope that you can do today. So today we're going to talk about 4 different steps of the process of human resource management. We talk about legal aspect of human resource management, talk about recruiting and selection process, talk about how we are able to develop employees, how we are able to retain the employees. For the reading, I want you to go and read the textbook chapter 7, page from 180 to 215. Right. Also, you have to watch these 2 videos. When you watch these 2 videos, the lecture notes are provided for you. And today, the assignment you have to complete is the second online discussion. And the second online discussion basically is I give you a scenario, I give you a case study. This is currently you're in your first year as a high school athletic directors and you have opening for tennis coaches. Right, so for this position, the compensation is very competitive compared to other schools in the areas. And currently, you would like to have some internal recruiting. So there are 3 people applying for this job. right? So I have 3 different people's list here: candidate A, candidate B, candidate C. All of them, they have their strength, they also have their weakness. Some of them are very experienced, some of them although don't have a coaching experience, but was a really successful tennis athletes in the past. So those kind of things for you to consider. You think 3 of them sort of qualify for this position, so that's why you want to conduct an interview to get to know more about these 3 candidates. So what do you have to do in this assignment? First thing is you create 6 to 8 standardized questions that you can use to interview all the candidates. These questions need to include 2 of them need to be background questions, background related. How do they understand a little bit more about what did they do in the past? Like, do they have a coaching experience in the past? How was their understandings about tennis, right? And also 2 of them are knowledge-based related questions, right? And knowledge-based, like how much do they know about tennis? And how much do they know about high school athletics? How much do they know about as a coachings, right? Those knowledge-based questions, and 2 behavior-based questions. 2 behavior-based questions also has been called situational questions, right? Sort of like, how do they normally manage a crisis? What will be the major issue you think the coach will be faced on a daily basis, and how are they going to address these issues? So give them the more specific questions that will help you to understand how they're able to solve this issue and problem. So those are the questions you create, and those 6 to 8 questions, you can use them to ask all the candidates, right? So those are standardized questions. At the same time, I want you to create 3 to 5 unique questions for each of the candidates based on their experience and qualification. So I'll give you a little background for each of the candidates. So they will have a very, very different background. So you possibly want to know more about this. So these 3 to 5 questions you create for each candidate, they will help you to understand a little bit more about it. So for instance, some people has been working in one school for like 20 years, and he applied for your job. You possibly want to know, and why do you want to quit your current jobs? Right? Why are you interested in these positions? Right? So these kind of questions, right? Or someone who have no experience in the past, you possibly want to ask these persons like, in how you are able to become a fast learner, and how you're able to use your experience as a successful tennis players in the past and transaction that to be a successful coach. You possibly want to know more about those things, right? So you have to answer these 2 questions. So make sure you have the whole day today to answer these 2 questions. The deadline for submitting all these questions is today and tomorrow, and you will have the opportunity to respond to another 2 students' answers and comment on it. Now, some of the questions may be good. You can just comment on it. Why do you think it's a good question for them to ask? Some of them may not be appropriate. I will encourage you also to point it out what kind of question your classmates mentioned in that discussion post are not appropriate. I would like to see how you comment on other people's work. Okay, so this is what you have to do for today. All right, any question, emails do the best way to get hold of me. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you next time.